If All Hell Breaking Loose was an episode, it would be episode 8. What's good, y'all? She gets this Erica Van coming to you with a new breakdown for episode 8, season 2, Power Book 2, Ghost. In this episode, we're going to talk about everything that went down in what is historically one of the Power series' most explosive episodes in every single season, episode 8, and this one did not disappoint. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Tariq is still on trial, y'all. Gianni Sullivan is trying to make these murders stick. We have a lot of tension being built coming into this episode, with the last scene of last episode being Davis giving Carrie a visit and letting her know that she was playing a dangerous game. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I did not expect the deaths that happened. Like, Courtney Kemp teased that we were gonna see a major death in this episode. However, we got 3. Well, I guess all 3 weren't major, because Lil Guap, Chef, he important for Mecca's story, but However, Carrie Miligram, I did not see that coming. Actually, I had been riding this wave when I was going through my comment section. I saw a few of you guys talk about how you think that Carrie was going to end up on the Power Book 5 spinoff, especially after watching how her and Rashad have been interacting this season. And I was like, oh, that makes complete sense. So she's probably not going to die. No. But it's also the way that she died. So I'm going to jump around a little bit, y'all, because this is one of the things that sticks out the most to me from this episode. And honestly, I feel like this interaction with Carrie really shows how far Tariq has come, and like how he is moving, how smart he is getting, how he is evolving. He is literally the new Ghost more and more every single episode. And the fact that when we see him sit down with Davis McClain, and Davis is like, great job getting Carrie to go on the stand, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So Davis didn't even put him up to it. He literally made this chess move where Lauren wasn't actually in class. Jenny was able to get to her quick enough so that she could go into custody before having to testify. She didn't go to class today, but then both Carrie and Tariq were worried about where she actually was. So they end up in Lauren's room, and Carrie's like, of course, shitting her pants because she knows what Tariq is capable of. But she also, I think deep down, she had to know that she also was like really reaching in some of that stuff, because she was also trying to clear her name. But Tariq manipulates her like a chess master and convinced her to take the stand instead of putting Lauren up there so that she could protect her student, because at the end of the day, what she did to Lauren was trifling. She knew everything that could potentially happen. She knew that Lauren would have to testify. She knew all of this, and then still tried to coax her along to go with it. And of course, with Lauren trusting her, she did it. So it made sense. Now, I will say that I'm surprised that Tariq was able to forgive Lauren so quickly, because while she didn't intentionally snitch on you, she did do it. And while she didn't intentionally catch you on the wire, she didn't tell you that she was wearing the wire. She didn't give you no type of hint. She didn't do much of anything. So I'm hoping that in seeing how he parlayed this particular part of the situation in this episode doesn't mean that we're going to have to still see him pining after her or trying to go back to her or completely forgiving her altogether. Now, a little side note to that is, I think that Effie ain't gonna let that go down, because Effie had a few things to say after Tariq reveals in this episode to her that she was actually wearing a wire, and Effie lets him know, like, yo, I already knew that she wasn't it from the jump. And you can see, in that moment, she also admits to falling for him, even though he's like, didn't you say that you didn't want to actually get attached? So clearly they're going to a whole nother level, which is going to be a problem, because Diana is also trying to ride that elevator to that same level. And sis, I think the elevator only could take up one at a time. I don't know how y'all feel about being on the elevator at the same time. But anyway, back to Carrie Miligram. So she takes the stand, and Davis annihilates her on the stand, y'all. I was watching these scenes in pure glee, because it finally felt like Carrie was actually being held accountable for some of her horrible decisions. And while it's not the best thing that she was slut shamed all up and through that damn courtroom, by golly, Miss Molly, the arguments that was made, they did what they were supposed to do. They understood the assignment, okay? Like, she literally said before people attached to this case, it was a conflict of interest from the beginning. She should have really recused herself. She should not have helped the prosecution. She really should have just minded her damn business, because she would have been able to still hide what she had going on as well as keep her job. And now she has lost all of it. Now, when we get to the end of the episode and Zeke walks in and finds her hanging from the rafters actress in her house, though, now things get a bit more complicated. Now, I think we're supposed to believe that Monet killed Carrie, because the last thing that we hear is that Monet says that if you're here, Zeke will never come back to me. And this is going to be after the whole blow up at the Tejada dinner table. We're going to definitely talk about that. But I don't know if Monet actually kills her. The fact that it's set up to look like a suicide, it definitely could seem like that. However, Carrie did say that she don't have nothing. She don't have no job. She don't have her integrity. She don't have anything. Like, what was she going to really do, y'all, after this? I know that Tay gave her a bomb pep talk last episode about you live to fight another day, but at this point, she was already in the ground. They just needed to throw the dirt on her, and I could definitely see her being capable of committing suicide on her own. But I would love to know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Do you think Monet killed her, or do you think she killed herself? All right, so from there, we're gonna talk about this Tejada dinner. Because this Tejada dinner was a hot Tejada mess. And Diana, I think you might need wit set, girl, because Monet is on your ass, mama. She is going to make sure that she catches you for this. She is going to swing the block, and you're going to pay for this one. Literally, all of the secrets get revealed at this dinner table. And it sucks because it's after Monet and Lorenzo had such a beautiful day at Coney Island, reliving a past date that they had, just talking, reconnecting. And while we know that Monet was still being a little bit distant, she sold it in reference to really making it seem like she was still all in their relationship, in their marriage, and everything that they have been going through thus far is just her trying to adjust to him being home as a surprise, but things were going to get better. No, they did not. By the time we sit down to this Tejada dinner, there's so much going on. So we got Kane picking at Diana about the food. Lorenzo is checking him about that. It is so weird, like just watching all of this tension build about all of these secrets and all of this low-key animosity. Like, Kane still resents Drew being the chosen one, but then also Kane utilized Drew for this particular plan that they had to be able to hit Mecca, and that went off without a hitch for the most part. He was able to save his brother, and we're gonna talk about that later on. But Lorenzo had to check him about Diana, so he's building up tension with Diana. Diana's getting pissed, giving her more ammunition to drop the bombs that she did. Drew didn't actually take care of Everett, so then Kane drops that bomb, which makes Lorenzo look at Drew kind of crazy. While we're sitting there and all of the stuff starts to fall out of everybody's mouth, Zeke is like losing it. He's just like, you was gonna kill who? You was what? This did what? All the way up until the big bomb drops about Diana finding a birth certificate of Zeke, that he's actually 4 years older than he is, that his mom is actually Monet, and that Dante was actually his dad. Like, all of this stuff comes out, and that literally just is the bomb that like implodes the family. I thought it was interesting because there was so many levels to how the information was falling out. So Diana actually, does like the checkmate move in reference to dropping Zeke's paternity, but she starts off really, I'm not even gonna say she starts off soft, because I feel like she comes in hot from all the information. She tells the family that Kane is the one that sugared the coke. Drew is like pissed about that, like, and then you manipulated me to get back in the family. All eyes are on him. Then from there, he brings up Everett still walking and breathing. Then all eyes are on Drew. In that moment, Zeke's like, y'all was going to kill my teammate. What the like, he's providing honestly comedic relief in this moment, because the tension is literally just building. Monet is like, well, girl, I know that you wasn't at Zeke's game. You actually went to Tariq's trial. You doing this, you doing that. Kane is like, I knew you was going to let him hit. And Diana taking it in, throw a little jab, throw Kane under the bus. Okay, cool. But you know what? Guess what? Ma did this. She's your mother. And I'm just like, ooh. Y'all, the way that I like sat up and my mouth was just wide open, and as I'm staring at the screen watching all this go down, Monet is trying to lay hands on Diana. It's bad. Like, it's really bad. Now, yes, the Tejada family implosion is bad. This whole thing that went down is bad, but I'm still trying to figure out, is it as bad or both of these things equally bad as the assault on Mecca and his organization? So while Tariq, Monet, Kane, Effie, and Brayden come together in this episode to pull off a heist of robbing the plug, Kane presents the opportunity of like adding a little extra sauce on it, taking it up a notch, and robbing him personally as well. And they do actually pull it off and then paint it out to look like it's the GTG. this don't feel like it's going to be as smooth as it actually went down. Ultimately, at the very end of the day, Mecca turns around and kills Chef, saying that he's the inside man. And I 120% believe that he never thought that, but the chef was sacrificed and he needed to sacrifice him. I think that Mecca has been very clear from the beginning about how everyone is expendable, and this was just a costly sacrifice to really gain Kane's alliance and full loyalty. He literally knows that Kane is behind this. Everything about this feels like Kane is behind this, right? Like, and there's the little looks that you see Mecca make, or the lingering looks that he holds, that to me are the dead giveaway to the audience that he knows that Kane has something to do with it. Everything from Kane initially when the lights go out, being the first one to offer up the information, oh, this feels like something I did with GTG. So while you were pointing him in the direction of looking at GTG for potentially doing this and setting that little seed there, you also are throwing your hat in the ring because you said that you did it before, so you could be doing it again. So that's one thing, right? Then this is actually part of the plan for them to set up GTG. The only way that Kane gets Drew on board is by telling him that yes, he can be the one to, you know, kill Lil Guap at the right time. And by golly, Miss Molly, I thought that Drew had just overestimated and was about to fall victim to some bullshit. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Like, walking up the stairwell and Lil Guap is pleading his case, and he got money and he got grills and he got so much reverence for the family and for Drew that once they get to where they need to get to, Drew's like pulls out the gun. I'm like, why didn't you just shoot him? Like, y'all are doing a whole lot of talking, so much so that Lil Guap has a moment to be able to disarm him. So ultimately, when Lil Guap is killed, he's done so by Drew's bare hands. And I get why that had to happen, because we have to see that monster continue to brew and build in Drew. It's almost like I've been saying this all season, it's almost like a switch flips in him and he instantly becomes a killer. And then once that switch is off, then he's back to being lovable Drew with the deep heart, bleeding heart, all of that kind of stuff. Cool. Now, you know, it's going to be, to me, a coincidence that the body of Lil Guap is left there. All of the things, to me, just kind of point to Kane. It's not as beautifully veiled as he believes to be. And also, Kane isn't actually the thinker. So while Tariq had the initial plan, I think that plan was well thought out, but them adding the extra part of being able to rob Mecca, to me, is the thing that's going to actually get them caught. Now, Drew finds the ring that Mecca has for Monet, and then that to me is going to be the super sealer of the deal of like, yes, he's going to find out about this, because this feels like a ring that was made one of one in the whole entire world. He had made specifically for her, and it's going to make its way back to him. Like, it's going to make its way to some showroom. He's going to see it, some private art dealer, or like private jewelry dealer or something. It's coming back. And that's going to leave him in as well. But again, I believe that Kane is being spared just because of his proximity to Monet. That's Monet's son. And ultimately, Mecca still wants her. Now, I think what's going to be very interesting going into episode 9 is Monet going to run to him now that Lorenzo has lost his damn mind? And kind of rightfully so, because she has been lying this whole entire time and he's decided to flip the family upside down. But is she going to run to him? How long is Kane going to be able to still make it once, you know, he actually gets one of the things that he actually wants? And y'all, while not as volatile as the Tejada family imploding or the assault on Mecca and his empire, Tariq has some things going on in this episode, and Ghost pops up to continue on his petty, and I'm just like, bruh, they are not playing with us this season. Episode after episode has been better and better, and like, y'all did that. I ain't even gonna hold you, Courtney. Y'all did that this season. So the episode starts off, of course, where we're, you know, at the trial for Tariq, and, you know, in opening statements. I absolutely love the opening statements. I definitely think that Jenny is a formidable opponent. I'm going to hate to see her lose in this, but Tariq got to walk free, sis, and you going way too hard, especially given the fact that you actually know that he didn't do it because you were able to offer him, or you know that he didn't kill one of these people because you were going to offer him a deal. But okay, girl, go off. I cannot stand, like, I get, like, I love Cooper Saxe proximity to her when he was getting information from her, but the fact that she was able to get information from him this episode, I was so annoyed and so stressed. Saxe about to need to catch a bullet in my eyes, because I'm gonna need him to pick a side and stay there. But going back to Tariq's trial, the opening statements were, to me, brilliant, and in those, Jenny presents the wire information. And that's the thing that puts a pause on where the trial is so that Davis and his team can review the information to figure out what's going on. And this is how Tariq finds out that Lauren actually wore a wire, and this is how they have that corroborating evidence. Now, what I want to focus on more so about this trial is the fact that the family attorney Daniel is in the audience or in the gallery of the courtroom, and anytime we see him, y'all, we know that it's going to be some he is the, I guess, executor of the St. Patrick estate. And every time he pops up, the last time he popped up, he gave Tariq a letter from his father to let him know that he knew he was going to end up in jail. Every time he pops up, unless Tariq goes and seeks him out, it's going to be a problem. And in this episode, he lets Tariq know after they recess that there was a contingency plan for, this actually happening. Yaz is going to be adopted. There's a nice family that wants her, and Ghost requested that her name be changed upon adoption, and all of the adoptions files sealed so that she could not be found once she's actually adopted. So Tariq is presented with the opportunity of literally losing Yaz forever for good, similar to how he has lost Tasha. Now, what I will say is Davis and Saxe are keeping Tasha away from Tariq. So while he thinks that he doesn't have any contact with her or can't have any contact with her, there's still an opening there. There's still a way. And at the end of the day, if Yaz is adopted and her name is changed, she's still of the age where she knows exactly who Tariq is, and when she is of a greater age, she can come and look for him. So all is not lost there. Honestly, with these little small plot points and the infusion of Ghost into this narrative, I am starting to believe more and more and more that Ghost is not actually dead. Like, he has way too many contingencies for his death, quote unquote, for me to really believe that this man is not somewhere just kind of like waiting in the wings. But that's a whole other video for a whole nother day, but best believe it's coming. So anyway, that I said all that to say Tariq literally starts to feel the pressure of, potentially losing his sister. And it's actually sad, like Daniel actually says, in the untimely matter where the entire family is destroyed by someone, and Tariq gotta eat that. That's basically what he kind of did, right? So this is the thing that kind of really lights the fire up under Tariq's behind, because yes, he got to pay Davis, and Davis threatens to I'm gonna give you to a public defender, but at this point Davis is too deep in. He can't walk away from Tariq because his life is on the line. The moment that he does, you work for killers, murderers, and drug dealers, sir. You don't get to just prance around and stop representing them because you don't want to anymore because you're not getting no money. So anywho, aside from that, this part about Yaz is the thing that okay, he got to do something now, and that's where he cooks up the plan to rob the Connect. Now, switching gears a little bit, because I kind of want to talk about Lorenzo, and I will be coming with multiple videos to break down specific points from this episode, y'all, because it was so much that happened, and I don't want this video to be too long. Lorenzo, now by the end of episode 8, knows Monet's side, knows Monet had Zeke, knows that it was Dante is the father, knows all that's going on with his kids, but he doesn't know that Dante is Mecca and Mecca is his connect. This is about to get hella messy, y'all. Hella messy. Let me know what you thought about the episode in the comment section down below. I cannot wait to talk about this with y'all. Episode 8 was giving. If you want to hear what I got to say about next week's episode and a preview breakdown, click this video right here. And if you want to have a conversation about Tariq and Effie and what's going to happen once she finds out about Diana, click this video right here.